In my first book, Eat That Cookie, one of my favorite chapters, and I think one of most of yours as well, is officially titled Eliminating Debbie Downers, How Managing Morale Will Help You Create a Great Workplace. Editors, it should have just been titled the Eat That Cookie chapter, or How Negativity Ruins the Workplace. Negativity is the mortal enemy of teamwork. You can't have both together. Intuitive, strong performers know how to work as a team. Your high performers understand what they need to do to get the job done. Low performers will never work as a team. So when I see organizations putting a lot of effort into creating team building exercises, but yet they still have negativity, I know that they're going to struggle. If you think about it, think about some of your worst days at work. Or I shouldn't say your worst, but the ones that are the most challenging. I always go back to Sunday mornings in the emergency department. Sunday mornings were tough. They were busy because you had people from Friday and Saturday, kind of the whole weekend adding up. We usually were short-staffed. We never had clerical help. Sometimes we had people holding for a long time, patients hanging from the rafters, and God forbid someone should call in sick. And we would come in on those busy days and look at the schedule and see who we were working with and know it's going to be okay. We've got the right people on, we're working with people who are like, let's get this done, I've got your back, what do you need? And we knew that everything was going to be okay, because we had strong, high performers working. Then there's other days that you come in. No one's called in sick. It's not that busy. It's a Wednesday. You've got clerical help, and you look at the schedule and you think to yourself, whoa, longest shift of my life. That's the difference with negativity. We're never going to have effective teamwork. Building a team starts with eliminating the negativity. Morale is not the job of the boss. If you've got people who come into work every day that are bothered by little things, the boss can't fix that. In my judging chapter, I talk about how I used to get bothered by people who would walk into my emergency department with the backs of their shoes smashed down. You know, those people that come shuffling in, I'm sick, or they don't know how to buy the right size shoe, so they never get their whole shoe in there, or their whole foot in the shoe. That used to bother me. Now, it's craziness, but those are the things that upset you. Well, it was not my boss's job to stand in the parking lot and tell people, put your shoes on all the way, Liz is working. If you've got a list of things that bother you, that's not the boss's responsibility. We have to take control of that. We get as much negativity in the workplace that we are willing to put up with. And I think we have been far too accepting of negativity. I don't think it's okay to come into work every day and be in a bad mood because the job is hard. Because you know darn well you're working with people who do the exact same job every day and they're in a good mood. We have to take the steps necessary to drive out negativity. And what we permit, we promote. I did not invent that saying, but I know for a fact that the reason why we've gotten so much negativity in healthcare is because we continue to allow it. I gathered my team together one night and I said to them, this emergency department has gotten far too negative. What can we do to make this ED just a little less negative? And they said, well, administration ought to. I'm like, no, not administration. What are we going to do? Oh, well, corporate should. No, not corporate. Human resources. No, not human resources. It was a very difficult conversation because when most people are asked, how do we make the workplace better? We never start with ourselves. It's always if he did this and she did that and they did this, they did that. So it took us almost the whole first hour. And I'm going to tell you something. Moving my team from being very negative to positive was very rewarding work. Did not happen overnight. Quite frankly, it took longer than moving service excellence, but it was well worth it. We spend a lot of time at the workplace. It is worth the effort to create a work environment that's positive. And they started that night with a very tiny first step. The first thing that they agreed to do to make that emergency department just a little less negative is they all agreed to stop saying to each other at change of shift, run away, don't even badge in, I'll pretend I never saw you, save yourself, go, run, flee, flee. Now that's not malicious. It's done out of some sense of camaraderie, but it's negative, isn't it? Sure. You come into work and your coworkers are saying, run, run, run and hide, flee, run. You're thinking, whoa, you're not thinking, wow, yippee, another day in paradise for me. I don't think most of you are negative, but I do think we are all very guilty of supporting negativity. The negative person comes in and they throw their pen across the desk and they say, this place is crazy. And we say, yeah, I hear you, boy, ain't that the truth? Oh, you could sure say that again. Well, when the negative person hears that from their coworkers or their leaders once or twice a day, they begin to believe that not only is that behavior appropriate, but in some odd kind of way we actually appreciate it. We need to stop that. Now I'm going to tell you something. There have been many methods over the years. Some of you might have been coached in them in how to deal with negative coworkers. A lot of them are just weird. Sometimes I was taught how to use an I statement, and that sounds something like this. Someone comes in, they throw their pen across the desk, and you say, Susie, let's go have a dialogue in the lounge. And you go to the lounge, and you say, when you throw your pen, I feel disrespected. Now, if that works for you, good for you, keep doing it. But for most of us, it's just too weird. So I'm going to give you a strategy that is simple, but it's not easy. Say nothing. Negativity requires an audience. Now, why it's simple, it's not easy because it will feel awkward in the beginning. Let's say the negative person hangs up the phone from another department and says, those people are idiots. Say nothing. Now, the first couple times, the negative person might think, well, maybe she didn't hear me. They'll say, idiots, I said. Still, nothing. After a while, it will become easier for you. And if you can talk a colleague into doing it along with you, then pretty soon the audience for that negativity goes away. We can't continue to support negativity in our workplace. We have to support the folks who are positive. When I first started this part of my career, I was asked to go to a hospital in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They brought me in for 6 months to work with a very large maternal child division, 250 folks. And all they wanted me to work on was morale. Nothing about service excellence, nothing about leadership, morale. So I gathered a group of about 20 together to form a committee representing the 250. And I said to them, you need to come up with an initiative to make this division less negative. And they decided they were going to pick 1 day a week for no negativity day. Just 1 day. Because they thought all 7, whoa, that's crazy. But 1 day a week they thought would be like a novelty. And even though they were a 24/7 operation, they still thought Monday is not a great day just to rule out negativity. So they picked Tuesdays as no negativity day. And in order to remind their team that Tuesday was no negativity day, they made sure that every Tuesday within that very large division, every department, in fact, every shift, received a great big plate of those yellow cookies with the giant smiley faces on them. You know what I'm talking about. And you can be sure there was some negative people in that division that looked at those cookies and got mad. This is an insult to me professionally. I can't be bought off with a cookie. I'm not eating those cookies. It insults me. Well, now, you might have been looking at those cookies thinking, hey, cool, cookies. But when you hear that tirade, you go, oh, yeah, isn't that the truth? You could sure say that again. I hear you. Yep, yep. You can't do that anymore because I'm going to tell you something. I know that cookies are not the answer to all of our problems in the workplace. I'm not, woo, that nuts. But I also know cookies are not the problem, are they? Cookies? A problem? Never. The problem is the negative person standing in front of you who only sees the bad in everything. You get a blue tote bag at Christmas time, people complain about that. Why is it blue? Why can't we ever have a choice or a selection? Maybe for a change, I'd like something that's red or green. And why does it have to be a tote bag? They give us some type of tote bag every single year. How many tote bags could a human being need in their lifetime? I wish they'd just put that money in my check. Yeah. All right, I want to say to them, here's your $2. Woot woot, go make yourself a party. You're working with people who are bringing in smiley face cookies because they're trying to make the workplace better. Those are the people you support. And if you've got some negative person going, oh, for Pete's sake, we've got work coming out of our ears, but it's Happy Tuesday, so I'm supposed to be in a good mood. Instead of saying, yeah, I hear you, boy, ain't that the truth, it is time once and for all to look these negative people square in the eye and say to them, shut up and eat that cookie. Healthcare is too hard to be working with people who are in a bad mood every day. We need to lighten up. We need to create a positive work environment. And this is my take on it. If you'd like to learn more, pick up my book, Eat That Cookie, from firestarterpublishing.com.